Hello and welcome to episode 4 of A Load of Clark and Ball. Unfortunately, my partner in crime, Dave Clark, was unavailable for recording, so you're going to have to settle for a little bit of a load of old ball. But it's the Newcastle Puppy Derby, the ARC Newcastle Puppy Derby that we're going to be focusing on this week. It's live on Sky Sports Racing Channel 415, £6,500 to the winner. And I've got a brilliant replacement in John McCallum, absolutely knows the dogs inside out. What John doesn't know about the game isn't worth knowing. He had Gazilli Shea, was third in this event in 2017. Welcome to the show, John.
Thanks, Tony. Great to be here. Hope you're keeping well. Hope everybody else is keeping well.
Yeah, as I say, it's a great event. This always throws up a good pup. It was at Sunderland for 14 years, and I think it's been at Newcastle since 2009. Again, it generally throws up a good pup, John, and the locals have had a little bit of a stranglehold in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, Levante Beach won it last year. Really good early pace the dog had. Droopy's Buick's a past winner for Jimmy Wright, and also knee-jerk reaction for Stephen Atkinson. He won it as well. And if you go back a bit further, Ted Soppett's won it a couple of times. So the local guys do have a bit of stranglehold on it. But normally brings a few of the Raiders for down south up, and some of the Raiders for Scotland down as well, who have got good dogs and have got good dogs at the moment. And there's a few interesting ones in it this year.
Well, it is a 36 runner event. We've got 36 youngsters vying to book their place in the final, and we'll kick off with Heat 1. This was had to be redrawn, this particular event, but this is the actual how they're going to go into the boxes. In track 1 in Heat 1, we've got Lightfoot Gigi. Track 2, Slangevar Tommy. Track 3, Abigail's Buddy. Track 4, Little Ghost. Track 5, Bubbly Freebie. And track 6, Cold as Ice. How do you see this one going, John?
I would say, looking at it, it looks like one of the sort of almost weaker heats, if there is such a thing as a weak open race. But I'm sure when Jimmy Fenwick seen the draw, he wasn't complaining too much with Cold as Ice drawn in this heat. The one dog, Gigi, is also Jimmy Fenwick's, and it's found its feet lately. It's won a couple of races. It's also beaten the 2-dog Slangevar Tommy in a trial. I think the key to Lightfoot Gigi is it's drawn the right side of Slangevar Tommy. I watched that trial. If Tommy had been drawn in one and Gigi outside it could have been a different result. So Gigi's got a good draw. The 3-dog in the race, Abigail's Buddy, really in at the deep end here. 27.57 at Henlow. Done I'd say a moderate trial at Newcastle. A poor split time, 4.79. Didn't come away great. We'll probably improve on that. 4-dog Little Ghost is Tom Heilbrun's. Now, that's one of the youngest dogs in the competition. It's in October 19. Never had a competitive race in its life. So it's really been thrown at the deep end. I looked at the dam, Droopy's Esther, and it's the first litter. There's 3 dogs at the litter, and it's the first litter of Droopy's Esther. So you have nothing really breeding-wise to go on either. The 5-dog Bubbly Freebie, good sectional on trial, 4.67, but struggled and they won at Romford, led the corner, didn't win. Could be up against it here. Whereas the 6-dog, Cold as Ice, made the Puppy Derby final at Towcester, 28.45 in a trial a couple of weeks back. Very, very hard to oppose. It looks like the door's open for, I would say, a 1-2 here for Jimmy Fenwick. I fancy Cold as Ice to put this to bed comfortably. Lightfoot Gigi to finish second, and Slangevar Tommy stayed on well enough against Gigi. It can run into a place in third and qualify for the next round, Tony.
Yeah, I do agree. I think Jimmy Fenwick would be delighted with the redraw. Cold as Ice is as fast as any. Give him a solo trial. As you say, John, he'll do a very quick time. The problem is he just lacks that yard of early and is susceptible to finding a little bit of crowding. But I do think that this is an ideal opportunity for him to showcase his skills. And although Lightfoot Gigi struggled with consistency when first arriving on the scene, brighter exits have really seen her in a different light of late. So I agree with John. I think it could be Jimmy Fenwick all the way in the opener. Let's move on to Heat 2 then. In trap 1, we've got Bubbly Rascal. Trap 2, Swift Unhallowed. Trap 3, Kill West Lady. Trap 4, Milefield Penny. Trap 5, Rock Mount Dizzy. And trap 6 is Danny D. Now, Danny D really caught the eye in the Monmore Puppy Derby. I believe Danny D's named after a drag act in Newcastle, John. Is the drag act any good? I think you've been...
No, I don't frequent such places in Newcastle. I'm down there and straight back up the road, you know. But I'll take your word for it, Tony. The way I've seen this heat, Bubbly Rascal, starting looks a concern for the dog. Saying that, it's won 2 open races at Romford from off the pace. So Newcastle probably a better track for that than Romford. Got more room to run. The 2 dog, Swift Unhallowed, will give it plenty of room. It'll turn right out the boxes. It's a bang middle runner with a good turn early pace. Probably mid 460 sectional constantly. So one will get a run here. The 3 dog, Kill West Lady, been running well at Henlows, 27.82, but could struggle outside the Unhallowed. Unhallowed could come out, turn right and cause Kill West Lady a problem. Marfield Penny has been coming through the grades at Newcastle. Has to lead to win, doesn't get the trip strong, and it would be, can it clear 2 and 3? Tricky. The 5 dog, Rock Mount Dizzy, I really like it. It's got great early pace. It ran a trial 2 weeks ago against Tasty Treat, and it was only beaten a length and probably lost the length from the boxes. I'd say that Tasty Treat was a 460 split that day. Dizzy done 467, a length behind the boxes, and stayed that way all the way around. Now, if you remember, Tasty Treat came out last week and won an open race at Newcastle, leading all the way at a massive price. And it's got some smart clocks at Dundalk over the 400 Tasty Treat. So Rock Mount Dizzy's there with a real live chance. I fancied the dog in a sprint at Nottingham strongly. I had a few quid in it, and it just got drawn the wrong side. Droopy's Dishy won the race. It got a solo down the rail. Danny D, trial 28.94, sectional 466. Definitely going to improve on that, but we'd have a tricky enough draw outside Rock Mount Dizzy. So I'm going to go for a bit of value here, Tony. They'll put Danny D in short on its Monmore form, guaranteed. So I'm going to go with 5, Rock Mount Dizzy, to get off the front and win comfortably. 6, if it gets a run round the corner, finishing second, and into third. I see 2, 3, and 4 bother with the middle 3.
Yeah, I'm going to be with Danny D. I think Rock Mount Dizzy's brute early pace will give Danny D a nice toe into the race. I think Danny D will find 2 or 3 yards on that recent trial. And last year, not last year's, when it was postponed in 2020, obviously because of the COVID, but 2019, Levante Beach was a similar away and gone tactics Rock Mount Dizzy. But this is clearly as far as Rock Mount Dizzy wants. And I just think if Danny D can be on the case, I think Danny D will prove too strong. So moving on to Heat 3. Trap 1, Bramble on the Up. Trap 2, Sonic JJ. Trap 3, Toast of Sydney. Trap 4, Lightfoot Sam. Trap 5, Bocco's Melody. Trap 6, D and G. Now, I did speak to you early in the week, John, and you was very taken by the trial from Bocco's Melody, particularly the clock to the third bend.
Yeah, I time all the trials to the third bend. And Bocco's Melody, out of the dogs that are on show this evening, has got the fastest clock to the third bend. There was a dog trial today at Newcastle and done a 4:37 split, which I think is a record. I think Ice on Fire's 4:44 was the fastest up to then, and didn't do the same clock as Bocco's Melody did to the third turn. But to be fair, it was a pup and it didn't run the first 2 bends great. So I'll look at Bocco's Melody. If it was to start, it could lead these a merry dance. The 1 dog, Bramble on the Up's a 28.70 dog when it's on the skin. It does stay on. It's a different dog when leading, but it does stick to the task if turning second or third. But I think it wants further out than red. I don't think 1 is ideal for it, and I can see it maybe just missing up at the 1 box. The two dogs are very interesting runner. I don't think it was on the original card. I think it was a reserve, Sonic GG. It's a young pup, and it's broke 17 seconds over the sprint at Newcastle. Now, to do that for a pup, 16.98, that's a good run. That shows you've got Bagsy early. It's trial over the 480, 29.40, which tells you maybe needed it. So that could cause problems up the inside. Toasty Sydney's a bang railer, hits the red badly. Hard to see if the pup was to pop out. Toasty Sydney getting along to the red. Toasty Sydney, it clipped the rail last week when going into the corner. So you can put a line through that line of form behind Rock McDizzy. But can it get over the rail? Red or blue, they can both start. Tricky draw for Toasty Sydney. Whereas Lightfield Sam's got a good draw, because 3's going to be in onto the rail, 4 will get a run down the middle. Whether or not it can match 5 to the corner, I very much doubt it. Now, the 6 dog is a dog that Gary Carmichael's got, that we have dogs with. D&G, he's a Forest Natalie pup. George Cunningham owns him, bought him when he was very young. He just reared her and got back there, went to Monmore, and he's still a maiden. He never managed to win a race at Monmore. And the reason he never managed to win was his slow starting. He's a perennial box kipper. But
he'll be a warm order 5 here, though, John, wouldn't he? I mean, he's
got to be, Tony. I would think they'll put 5 in. They'll put 5 in favourite, probably 3 in second best, closely followed by 1. I made it a 5-1-3 finish. I made 5 to win it, 5 to win the race, 1 maybe to run on for second, and 3 for third.
Yeah, I'm going to weigh in with 5 myself. I think that trial was very impressive. Again, it was his first sort of workout, proper blowout since January. So Bocco's Melody to justify expected short price. Right, heat 4, we've got Jaguar Macy, the Monmore Puppy Derby Heroine, Lemon Caesar in trap 2, Gary's Diamond in trap 3, Koulavani Noel in trap 4, trap 5 is Bubbly Dusty, and trap 6, Lightfoot Dodd. I mean, Macy was absolutely sensational at Monmore. We know she runs Newcastle well, John.
Yeah, she's won Newcastle. Macy's one of these bitches. We had a bitch in the kennel, Sport Melody, that wasn't quite as fast as her, but was a similar. She does it both ways. She's got early pace, but she stays as well. Now, she had a horror draw, I thought, in the final with the Monmore Puppy Derby in 4. And I didn't think she could win it, and she cracked it, ran superb. She's a really, really good bitch. She looks like in the makings of being a real top-class bitch for her against the rails. So every chance of comfortable winning that heat, probably, well, guaranteed she'll be a 47, 1-2 chance in that heat, I would
obviously, dangers look thin on the ground, John. If you had to put a forecast link in this heat, who would be your main forecast link?
I would put 6 in as a forecast, Lightfoot Dodd, because it looks like a dog that might get a trip eventually. It stays on well in the graded strength. Been running A1, won one of the A1s, been picked up Droopy's Ray. I would put that in. 5 will be out the road. That looks a bang front runner. It's been leading at Romford and Monmore and got picked up at both tracks. Now, Newcastle's more of a testing name, so it'll be there to be shot at. I see Jaguar Macy comfortably winning the heat, Lightfoot Dodd running on for second, and maybe Bubbly Dusty holding on for third place.
Yeah, my take on this heat 4 will be Jaguar Macy, and I'm going to take a chance with Lemon Caesar. I thought he showed little bits and pieces in reaching the Puppy Derby semi-finals at Monmore. He'll improve a bundle on that trial, but it does look all about ground rankings. Bargain of the century, Jaguar Macy, just shy of £700, I believe, with all like 10 or 12 of them in the moving on to heat 5, track 1, Lemon Fly, track 2, Any Name Will Do, track 3, Maximum Security, track 4, Roxholm Dubai, track 5, Droopy's Ray, and track 6, T-Boy Bruno. Now, Roxholm Dubai, obviously the keepies always unleash above average types, John. What did you think of this particular fella's trials? Because he's got middle, check-in from 4th.
The trial, the dog he can only improve for the trial for sure. He was all at sea. Really didn't run the track great. I noticed he's been put in at as short as 10-1 with some firms, 14-1. I think it's the Haley Keatley factor. If he had been trained anywhere else, he'd have been put in at 33-1 in my book. But he will improve for the trial. I think the one dog here, Lemon Fly, I was impressed at Romford when he came and picked up Elmsby. He done 35-30 at Romford over the 5.75. I think he's got a good makeup here. I think he can go around in a position. Maximum Security ran well last week, but got off the front. I think it's a different ballgame here. Not sure to get off the front. I went Lemon Fly to beat Maximum Security, and maybe Roxham Dubai finding a bit, maybe staying on for third. But I think Lemon Fly's got a great makeup in the race. It'll be an interesting one to see how they bet between 1 and 3. What they'll make favourite. What would you make favourite in the race, Tony?
Well, I'm going to be with 1, but I hope they don't make it favourite as a punter. So I thought that Maximum Security might just set the target for the others to aim at. Worked up A5 to A1 at Sheffield since September. Good early pace, but I was a little bit not disappointed that the 28.95 is going to have to be bettered if he's going to trouble some of the big names further down the line. But Lemon Fly took a handful of races to get his act together, but got winning form over 5.75 at Romford. Good trial, and that will do for me in Heat 5. Lemon Fly to fly past on the running. Now, Heat 6, Lav Yinyak for Gary Carmichael. Trap 2, Knight of Merlin. Trap 3, Conan's Lass. Trap 4, Brightside Nick. Trap 5, Pro Ava. Trap 6, Prince of Troy. Now, if you didn't know this was at Newcastle, you'd think this was a Romford race with the Romford dogs in here. John, I personally like Brightside Nick, who I just think that this dog's really shown good ability in races and trials of late. He just might be a late developer. I think the penny's starting to drop with him, but what's your take on the Heat?
Well, Brightside Nick had the second fastest clock to the third bend on trials. So, yeah, every chance he could get off the front. But the thing that caught my eye, Tony, was this Nighty Merlin. 1-2 trials at Toaster and twice beaten Bocco's Melody at Toaster in sprints, which I found hard to believe on what I've seen at Newcastle from Bocco's Melody. So it must possess serious early pace. La Vignac's a good wee bit. She's won 4 races for Gary Carmichael. It's another one owned by George Cunningham. And she's coming forward all the time. And she'd probably break better out of 2 than she will 1. But the makeup ain't that bad. But the way I seen the race, I'm with yourself. I think Brightside Nick, if it fires into 457 sectional again, nothing's going to get to the third bend on its clock. So I would have to be with Brightside Nick. Nighty Merlin, maybe to go around second, control the inside, and maybe wee Ignac to run on for third. So I went 4-2-1, Tony.
Yeah, I'm with the Brightside Nick. In fact, anti-post, I'm going to put up Danny D and Brightside Nick as a bit of value. I mean, I've seen a few of the anti-post prices. Jaguar Macy's trading around the 5-2 mark. Bocco's Melody around the 5-1 mark. How do you see the anti-post side of things yourself, John?
I think there's a dog overpriced in it with one firm. I think Lemon Fly at 33-1 with Skybet's ridiculous. Now, it's as short as 16-1 with Power. How much Skybet will lay it, I don't know. But if you can get into the 33-1, the first round it almost looks like it's going to win that heat. So you're going to be on a semi-finalist at 33-1. So you've got to take some of that. I was impressed with Bocco's Melody with its third bend clock. And it's 13-2 with Paddy Power. I think that it wouldn't be an each way bet. That'd be a straight bet. I would play the tournament. A win on Bocco's Melody and an each way Lemon Fly with Skybet. That 33-1 will not last, I guarantee it.
Well, you've been listening to a load of Clark and Ball. My sidekick, Dave Clark, wasn't available, but John McCallum, he knows Newcastle. He knows every grain of sand at Newcastle, let alone the dogs. Don't forget the Arc Northern Puppy Derby, Wednesday evening, live on Sky Sports Racing, channel 415. You've been listening to a load of old ball and the judge, that is John McCallum. Tune in for more episodes for these big competitions that are coming up for a load of Clark and Bull.